Hello friends! So after a few years spending most of my free time researching the origin of words, I've met a few other etymology-minded people in my virtual lexical wanderings, and as it turns out, some of them even live in the same town I live in, and so I started a WhatsApp group with these fellow word lovers, and earlier today, one of them proposed a meeting at a bar, not far from where I live, where we could passionately exchange origin stories of our favorite words. Could be fun. When do we meet, I asked. How about tomorrow evening? Tomorrow evening? Great, I'll be there. Let's say 6 p.m. Cool, see you then. And at this point, well, I made a crucial mistake. You see, I've been so wrapped up in etymology recently that I took the phrase tomorrow evening a little too literally, at least in the historical sense. You see, to me, the phrase doesn't make any sense if you look at each word individually. First, we have tomorrow, which comes from to and morrow. The first element is just a prefix, based on the preposition to, which is used in this context to indicate a specific time period, like today or tonight. The second element, morrow, a few centuries ago, like for example when it was used by Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet, referred specifically to the morning after the current morning. It's actually related to the word morning in English, and distantly the word for morning in other Germanic languages, like German and Icelandic, among many others. Over time, morrow, by extension, began to refer to the entire day after today, not just the morning. And so now, of course, it means the day after today. So that's probably what was meant in the WhatsApp group when it was suggested that we meet tomorrow. So it should have been pretty clear which day our get-together was. But somehow, the second element, evening, really confused me. You see, evening is, in the etymological sense, the opposite of tomorrow. Rather than referring to the morning after, it referred to the evening before, so to speak. Now, we might recognize this earlier meaning when we think of, for example, New Year's Eve. That is, of course, the day before New Year's. Now, eve and evening are definitely related. They both descended from the same Proto-Germanic root, as we can see in some of the modern words cognates. A little more recently, they both descended from the Old English eben, which meant not only the period of the day before nighttime, but also, in religious contexts, and especially in compound words, the evening of the previous day, as in morgunn, or literally the eve of the moon's day. So, not Monday, but instead what today would be known as Sunday evening, because in the days of the Anglo-Saxons who spoke Old English, the day began in the evening. Therefore, the eben usually denoted the beginning of the current day of the week, and not the end. Oh, and for those of you wondering, even, in the sense of evening, is not related to the adjective even, in the sense of not odd, which has a completely different etymology. Anyway, I know in retrospect, it was pretty obvious that tomorrow evening in the WhatsApp chat meant that we would be meeting the day after today, but somehow I only figured that out once I got to the bar. And let's just say, well, I learned my lesson. Etymology is really interesting, and I enjoy learning about what words used to mean, but when it comes to modern day communications, especially when discussing what time to schedule a get-together, even among fellow aspiring etymologists, it's important to keep track of what day it is, and more importantly, to make sure we're all on the same page regarding whether we're applying modern definitions or Anglo-Saxon ones. For everyone else, that seems to be a non-issue, but for me, unfortunately, it's easier said than done. Thanks for watching.